In this lesson, I will be addressing third-party libraries in Arduino. I'll be talking about what they are, how we use them, and how we install them in the Arduino IDE. If you remember in our previous discussion, we mentioned that Arduino was an open source platform. What this means is that many developers can create custom libraries, which we refer to as third-party libraries, that package up functionality that is commonly used. This reduces the code that we write in our own programs and is helpful in that we do not have to reinvent the wheel every time and can focus on solving the parts of our program that are unique to our project. As an example, in a project that we will be building later on for a Piezo Buzzer game, there is a very handy debouncer library. It's referred to as bounce2. Essentially, it helps us to determine when a push button switch is being pressed and eliminates any debouncing that might happen in the circuit. And we'll talk more about what that means later on. So I'm actually going to search for that library, that Arduino bounce library. And actually I'm going to look for the GitHub link. It was built by Thomas Fredericks. So typically when you get a library, you're going to download it from wherever it's hosted. In this case, a lot of developers use GitHub, which is a repository for you to download code and have source control and manage updates and so forth. So you click on the download link, or clone or download, and generally you would download the zip file. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to put it in just on my downloads folder here on my desktop. So I'm going to click save, and it's downloaded. So now the question is, where do we put this in our Arduino IDE so that we'll be able to refer to it later? Well, if you go to Arduino and Preferences, what you'll see here is the sketchbook location. This is the path to where you would put any third-party libraries. You'd copy them into there. So I'm going to go to that. And here, as you see from my particular computer, it's going to be in my Arduino Documents Arduino folder. You'll see a libraries folder in there. And the zip file that we got, you would want to copy that in there. So we saved it to the desktop. I'm going to go ahead and unzip it. And typically you would see a -master next to the file, especially if you get it from GitHub. You'd want to rename that to just the name of the library, and you can take off the -master attribute. When you get that, you can copy it to your documents, wherever that location is, libraries folder, and you can paste it in here. As you see, I already have that bounce library in here, but you would just paste it in there, copy it over across there. So once that's copied, you'll have to restart your IDE to make the changes take effect and that library to load up. So I'm going to close it off. I'm going to restart my Arduino. And when it comes up, typically if there are examples in the library, so if you go to your examples, here you'd see the actual bounce library that we put in our folder, our libraries folder, and here are some samples. So I'll just click on this one here to give you an idea, and here's the library itself. Okay, so that takes care of how we install it. And when we want to use it at the top of our program, we have to do an include statement. So by doing an include, we're able to pull in the particular header file for this this particular library, and generally the libraries have documentation on what you need to include, and the samples would tell you, as you can see in this particular case, if I go to the bounce at the top, it tells you what the include is to pull in that library. So pull that in, and as you can see in this particular project, because we pull in the library, we're able to use the objects that were defined in there and perform, the call particular functions on those objects. So we're able to use all of that, the features of that library by including it. So that essentially is it with regards to third-party libraries. You'll see in some of the more advanced and intermediate projects that we'll be addressing, there are some third-party libraries that we'll be needing. So this lesson illustrates what those libraries are, third-party libraries are in general, and when you find them, you typically would have to put them in your libraries folder from your preferences, and you restart your IDE, you include those libraries at the top of your program, and then you'll be able to use those particular functions or the functionality that's provided.